What's up, everybody? I'm Phil Rogacki.
And I'm Jared Abergina.
And you're listening to Two Tree Guys Podcast. What's up, everybody? Phil Rogacki here, bringing you Two Tree Guys Podcast with my co-host, Mr. Jared, the Iceman Abergina.
No ice tonight. No ice tonight.
See, that's the reason why I call him Iceman, because he has ice in his drink, and you guys can hear it the entire time more than what he says. But, man, we're joined by Mr. Lawrence Schultz tonight.
Hello.
What's up? Drinking water, getting hydrated.
Starting with water. Always lay down a firm layer of hydration. Hydration is very important. Very important.
I like it. But before we get started, a couple things we asked our viewers, our fans. Most of the fans are Jared's, but my couple fans that are out there. If you like the show, if you enjoy it, you get something out of it. If you learn something, if you laugh, share it. Nobody's paying us to do this. We're doing it for free. We do have our beer sponsors that we had to pay for the beer for them to sponsor us to be here tonight. But if you guys do enjoy it, you guys get a kick out of the show, you guys learn something, entertained in any way, and just want someone else to enjoy it, share it. Post it, share it, tag us. We'd love that. But before we get started tonight, before we get into your story, which I've heard on a podcast before, but I'm ready to hear the Two Tree Guys version of that, which is the R-rated. You had the PG-13 rated one.
I got tons of stories. I don't even remember most of it. So if somebody starts directing me with a line of questioning, then I'm like, oh yeah, there was that time, and I almost died, and I almost got arrested.
That band camp.
But we got a beer sponsor, man. Who do we got?
Yeah, technically not a beer sponsor, but what we'll do is we'll go ahead and grab one here. Let's dive in. Let's see what we got for options. We got shower beer for shower thoughts.
This is the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. The Fresh Rinse.
Ooh, there we go.
That's clever.
I'm going to go with dad pants because I'm a dad.
Dad pants. Man, Barrel Brothers.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about Barrel Brothers. This brewery is located in Windsor, which is not far from us. What do you think, Windsor? Maybe 20, 30 minutes away from us. But beautiful little town, super neat. Founded by two brothers-in-law, and the father-in-law started this brewery back in 2015. So only 7 years old, fairly new. But I love the way they put this. The Barrel Brothers Brewing Company has built this simple principle that if you make good beer and make people happy in the process, the rest will figure itself out. I thought that was pretty neat, and I support that. This company inspired and talented innovate brewers who forged the path for Sonoma County to be known as one of the country's epicenters of world-class beer. So I think, we'll see how it tastes.
No, I just took a sip. It tastes good, but I didn't even cheers you guys, so I don't know if it's bad luck for the podcast show or not. Yeah. But cheers,
I'm not that superstitious.
Welcome.
I also took the dad pants here. I'm not a dad, but I like the pants.
Yeah. I'm not usually a Pilsner guy, but
this is good.
Let's see how this.
This is actually really
rock.
good. This is shower beer.
What is shower? Is that meant to be had in the morning then?
I've had many cold shower beers, and it's actually really refreshing.
I've had many cold shower thoughts.
Here we go again. He literally will call me and be like, I had a shower thought about you today. I wanted to share with you.
That's okay, Phil.
Oh, man. That's good. That's actually really good. I enjoy that.
I like this too. Nice little pill.
Man, thank you, Fresh Rinse. Fresh Rinse. All right, man. Well, hey, welcome to the show. Welcome to the Academy Ranch. You came out here during the master class to see Meckley. Perform his art.
Meckley and Brian Toth and Caitlin Johnson are all friends of mine. It was cool to see them doing their thing. I am, pretty proud of them. It's weird. I'm not old enough to be their dad or anything, but I'm like a couple years older. And I met Matt. Let's see, when was that? It's got to be like 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a few years anyway, and he's just progressed exponentially Same with Brian. I haven't known Caitlin as long, but just seeing those three, it's really cool to see a lot of the young people now. Well, you can see it more because there's more social media and people are showing what they're doing. But seeing everybody progress the right way at such a rapid rate, because, I mean, Jared can probably relate. Well, maybe you can't relate to this because you probably had proper tutelage and you had your, like, father and people.
Well, I still grew up pretty rough. I mean, it wasn't always perfect, that's for sure.
Some of us were kind of finding our way around in the dark. Not as much social media out there to see other people's, like, how they're progressing or if they're doing it right or wrong. You just kind of, when I started back in, what was it?
18 years ago.
Yeah, 18 years ago. Not to date myself, but I guess at this point you can just count the rings anyway. Yeah, it was pretty much like, you're just going to learn with this guy who we stuck you in the truck with, and that's who's going to teach you, and better hope he knows what he's talking about.
It's an old crusty human being with big old large numb hands.
The guy, it's funny to look back on some of the things, because now that I know, it's like, wow, that was way off. What was he telling me that for? He was, okay, so just one thing that always pops into my mind is I got sent on an air spading job, which was kind of like out of the routine. And we go to this property and we air spade all these trees. And to me, this is completely foreign concepts, because thus far it was just like, trim this for this reason, cut that dead branch, cut this down. Like, it all kind of made some kind of sense. So air spading was the first sort of like semi-plant healthcare thing that I ever did. And we exposed the roots of all these small trees, and he's like, you see all those little, like, veiny things coming off the main roots? Cut those all off. And looking back, I'm like, we cut all the feeder roots off of every single one of those trees. Why the hell did we do that?
Did you ever figure out why?
Completely wrong.
No.
And where was this? Was this in New Jersey?
No, I started out in Pennsylvania, just outside of the Philadelphia area.
Gotcha. And let me back up a little bit. How long did you know Matt for?
Let's see. I mean, I can't place the year, but I would have to say it's just been a couple years.
Yeah.
Like probably 6 or 7. He's probably like
So
listening right now. He's like, you jerk, you don't remember what the hell?
You've watched his progression over the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's for everybody that's listening, don't know, Lawrence is going to be our second guest VIP for the master class. And holy crap, let me tell you, now you've been in the industry for 18 years. I've heard multiple times people have come to me, contacted me. You've been a lot of people's mentor out there. There's a lot of people that have followed you and that you've taught, and a couple people have come up to me and said, hey, is there any way I can go to that? I really want, man, Lawrence he's my mentor. He's a guy I've followed forever since YouTube came out. I've been following him, and he's mentored me. He's awesome, and we're getting a lot of those coming over. And man, people are signing up left and right. So if people haven't signed up yet, you better sign up because it's going to be a packed house. I don't know how we're going to fit all these individuals here. I really don't.
That's kind of crazy to me, because I don't think of myself like that, and I don't think of it like that.
People are purchasing like 5-6 spots on this, and I'm going, holy crap! It's filling up. It's filling up.
Here's a good one. We just had our summit this last weekend, and we're up in Tahoe. So the last day, we go out snowmobiling. Right, we have our group. Right, so we get out there, and I'm pulling in with my truck that has tree logos all over it, and I get this group as I'm pulling in that work there, and they're kind of like looking at me like, who is this guy? Who is this guy? Every tree guy does that when they see a tree truck. Yeah. Well, they're studying me up and down. I pull in, they guide me in, I park. The guy comes out and he's like, Jared Abergina? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, man, you did a training for us way back in the day in the city. He's like, I'm coming to come watch Lawrence. I can't wait, man. I'm going to drive all the way down, and I'm like, dude, that's cool. So, and everybody came over after, like, yeah, we heard about this Lawrence guy, and we're up in Tahoe going snowmobiling, right?
Yeah.
And
I'm like, doesn't matter where you go, man. You're a tree guy. You follow us, so.
You are,
That's
man.
No, I remember Jared. Like, I remember seeing Jared's name on the playbill for the TCIA and being like, oh, I gotta see that talk. I got to see that talk, man. That
So-
dude's like champion
so
climber. He's
embarrassing.
got the skills. Like, oh, I want to learn those skills. I got to see this talk.
I'm up there like I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah, right. No, but you've inspired a lot of people, man. A lot. And I don't know you well. You know, this is the first time we've actually hung out, you know, and drank a beer together. I've seen you at all the events and everything, but when we did our first post of that, inviting people to the master class, I could tell by the number of people that started coming in like that, you've had a big impact on those individuals' lives. And a lot of people you probably don't even know that you did, that's watched your videos, followed you online and everything. So I'm excited for that day. I'm going to probably be a student for that day to sit in the classes and listen to you on the master class, which is February 19th.
No pressure, shit.
February 19th. It's going to be awesome. We haven't picked the band yet that's going to be coming. Is there any type of music you want that we can look for?
You know what? My music taste spans the gamut. Like, I like all kinds of, like, I've seen Ravi Shankar at Carnegie Hall. I've seen Iggy Pop at Terminal 5 and everything in between. Like, I like a little bit of everything.
right,
And I know it's kind of like a cop-out answer, but like,
That is.
I don't
That
know.
was a
I
cop-out answer.
really do like a lot of different stuff.
All right. We're gonna it's going to be a good show that day.
Maybe we'll get a DJ.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. We
That'd
can
be
do
good.
that. That,
Yeah.
that makes it easier.
Or see if you can get a sitar player. That'd be cool too.
Who?
Sitar.
What's a sitar?
That's what. All right. So it's.
I'm like, is that
I
like a
don't-
mythical creature?
too long to
in-
explain. It's too
Right.
long to
a
explain.
mythical creature in
Sen-
Harry Potter?
It's really kind of like. It's
Oh,
like
funny.
it's Indian native music. It's
Oh, okay. I think I've
somebody
seen
could
it.
probably explain it better than me.
Okay, I'll Google it. I'll Google it. Sorry, everybody. This show took a turn for
I'm
the
like
worse.
sitar. I'm like, would you call me? You can't say that these days.
Well, let's you started a little bit on your
Very
story.
defensive.
Let's get into your story because the last podcast I listened to, like I was saying, you were in it, and it inspired me. It really did. It inspired myself. I shared it with a few individuals. I shared it with Bob, because you had a few things on there that you said where I have all this cool shit to teach. How do I get it out there? And that was one of the things, you didn't know where to get it. So you built your own YouTube channel. You made all your own videos, and I think your backyard or something, you made them and you put them out there to the world. It's called the Schultz Effect. Is that right?
Yeah. All right. So if we're specifically talking about that, that was born out of. So the YouTube channel itself was just me wanting to share the environment I was in, because when I started searching for other tree things out on YouTube, and this is like 10 years ago, there wasn't a whole lot. There were some heavy hitters. There was David Driver, there was Reg Coates, and Derek Martin, I think, was on there too, and maybe probably a couple others, but the sort of the quality of the content really wasn't there. It was either like action or it was just, I'm sure there was a lot others, and I've seen a couple things here and there, but it wasn't as constant as it is now. It wasn't as involved as it is now. It wasn't as nicely edited or filmed. And I remember learning a couple things, particularly from Derek Martin, actually, because he was the one who put stuff out that was a little more on the instructional side, or a little bit more on the like, hey, look, this is my setup. Look at this.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember being like, wow, that's super cool. And then I see other people like Reg and Mr. Driver doing actual tree work, just showcasing some of the more intricate situations they've been in, and not necessarily even talking, but just like, this is the job and I'm taking you with me, not in this way that we do now where it's just like it's a TV show, but it was just like, here's a edited version of that day. And at the time, I lived and worked in Brooklyn, and I was in all kinds of interesting situations that I didn't see anything like that. And I was just thinking, that would be cool for me to share what's going on over here, because I don't see any really super tight quarters urban stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish I'd had a camera earlier. I wish I'd had a camera on me more often. I wish I remembered to film more often.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen some pretty interesting scenarios, and so I started sharing that. It didn't, it took a little bit to catch because the community was much smaller back then. Eventually, if we're now talking on the so that was my YouTube, and
Mm-hmm.
you know it started having its own little life. Years down the line.
So wait, you just posted online,
I would just post online, and it was
and then
kind of a
people
creative
started
outlet.
follow. I mean,
Yeah.
was YouTube a thing? I mean, was it long?
YouTube's been a thing for a while.
Yeah, how long?
I
has
got
YouTube been
like a
around?
little bit of a following, and I would just try to keep it entertaining, try to keep it I guess some variety, some interesting stuff whenever I remembered to
Yeah.
actually film. Yeah. So fast forward, I guess. Well, I don't remember what year the first rope wrench came out.
Ooh, that's a good question.
That would have
I remember
to be like
when
9 years ago.
Oh man, that was right about when I got when I won the international. So I would say right around 2010, maybe. I think it was just after I won the international.
Nice.
2010, 2011. I won in 2009, and I didn't hear about it then. And maybe I could be wrong. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I saw I saw Kevin Bingham actually. I think the year before I saw Tom Dunlap do a trade show demo with the Unisender, and just remember thinking like, oh wow, that's pretty cool, but that's a whole lot of expensive gear. Next year, Kevin does one with a rope wrench, and I was like, okay, that's more my price point. I'm gonna try that thing, and yet now I have this thing, and there's no instructions. There's not much for YouTube videos. I think Derek Martin had a YouTube video about his setup for Ascension with it, and I understood the concept. I made up my own Ascent system based kind of pretty much off of Derek's, and then from there it was trial and error learning.
So this product came out, but there was no video or
There's
how.
nothing. Like conceptually, I understood how it worked, but from there, it's like, well, how do I implement? How do I take this tool and these benefits, and how do I execute with this? How do I work this into my workday
Yeah.
and make this make sense and make this efficient? I see the benefits. It's like, okay, I can go up with a factor of 1-to-1. I can weave around the tree and take redirects. I can see that being very beneficial in a broad X-current tree. But there's not really like for little things, like nobody's talking about forces when you start spanning these and taking these redirects, and what if you go around this branch from this angle, and nobody's talking about that. At this point, I did have a fairly decent understanding of how rigging worked, so I just thought of it like, oh, I'm rigging myself around the tree.
Yeah.
And even then, I still hadn't I haven't read a lot of material or gone to a lot of classes that really started breaking down. Like if you look up vector forces and you look up charts, there's like angles with degrees and there's percentages and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't really have that. I just kind of had a notion.
Yeah.
So going out with this notion, like, all right, this has worked rigging before. It should probably work with my weight, and I'm not going to be generating a massive amount of force. So,
But how do they sell a product like this with no instructions or how to use it or anything like that?
they've kind of been doing that for a while.
You're talking about all the rigging and all
I'm just
the
talking just in
climb-
general with all this stuff. Someone like Lawrence goes, okay, I want to buy this. It looks cool. I want to try it out. How do I use it? Where do I use it? In what scenarios? I mean, is this a common thing?
Yeah.
I mean, it's getting
So
better now. It's definitely getting
But
better
it takes
now.
someone like you to go, okay, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to start recording how to use this so other people don't have to go through the same things I just went through.
Well, so basically, it was a series of trial and error, and I did get myself into some hairy situations. Like, maybe everyone out there can relate to this, but I'm basal anchored. I climb up to the top, and I want to go higher. So I take all the rope, and I go to throw higher. And now my system, because I've thrown the rope higher, my system is now facing downward, and I've got to get it to go up and over. So I unclip it to put it up and over the branches, and it just shoots down the anchored side all the way to the ground. And so now I'm up there on my lanyard with no system. rope wrenches on the ground. It was a side job too. It's me and one dude who doesn't speak my language. No people, and it's like, what am I gonna say to him? I don't even know what to tell him to do.
Put a slip knot and send it. Yeah, you're not gonna relate.
So luckily I had a figure 8 because back in the day, for foot locking, we always I got in the habit of carrying it. So I rappelled to the ground with my figure 8, took the thing off, put it back on the proper side, and went back up. Just like, that was all right. That was dumb. Never let that happen again. Now we know. Trial and error. We just learned something.
You learn to save other people from doing that.
Yeah. So I there was a couple lessons like that I learned, and at this point, SRT was starting to, it was exploding in popularity, and people were starting to put out content, and people were starting to put out their setups and their redirects and their retrievable redirects, and there was a little mini explosion, a little renaissance, and people had all these tricks, and I remember trying all of them, and I remember, like, yeah, some of these work in a vacuum. They work when you're doing it in the shop, but you get out there in the field and get a lot more rope in this, or get a little twist in the rope, or just any little thing. There's pine cones. And some of these have some major drawbacks, or they can create a pretty dangerous situation. So I went through and was just sort of vetting them all out, and I had this like idea probably for a couple years, but like, hey, there should be a way that people can learn, because even at this point where there's now been this sort of, I guess, technique renaissance surrounding SRT, there's just I'm not seeing a lot of classes about it. I'm not seeing a lot of demos about it. There's not even the TCIA hadn't put out the manual yet about it. So there's not an official way to learn. And that's kind of what I wanted, because at this point I have my bag of tricks, and I've decided what I like and what works for my jobs and my trees. But it's like, I would like to run this by somebody who's better than me to make sure that I'm not doing something absolutely insane and just getting lucky.
Yeah.
And anytime
before you start teaching people.
Before I just keep going. At this point, I don't even have the notion to teach that much. I just want to make sure I'm not
gonna
kill myself one day. Like, oh God, I don't know how you're still alive. Like, oh my God, like, I'm waiting for that.
What the hell have you been doing?
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm teaching everybody this. It worked for me.
Hey, yeah.
Well, that's the thing about people putting stuff out on social media. It's not vetted at all. It's just somebody's like, oh, I've been doing it. And
but who vets it? Who says this is right and wrong? It's the people that
you wait till something goes
like
wrong
you that grab it and go, okay, let me test it out, because there wasn't anything. There was no manual. No one was showing you.
And even so, who am I? I'm no like official person anywhere up in the chain of our accreditation agencies or anything like that. I'm just some guy who now has
seen
a couple
a need
years
and created a solution.
But then again, who really is at the end of the day? So depending on who you're abiding by, depends on what does even matter.
Yeah.
We abide more by BMPs, best management practices in this industry. Some supersede or some don't exist in ANSI and OSHA, right? So what are we? Who's to say anything at that point? Right?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. CTSP is supposed to be one of those beacons of like, this is a guy who knows.
I took I was CTSP. And I did it, and I let it lapse, and I'm gonna get it again because I don't know. I feel like I have to, but it's it was totally sorry TCIA. Don't be mad at me, but it was not what I thought it was when I got into it at all.
What was it like?
It was like a 2-day class about like leadership, and I thought it was more like safety, but it was me just being a good leader on things, and I don't know. My mind thought, man, I am going to be a real certified safety tree professional. Safety. And I got in there and I'm like, okay, don't cuss at your employees. Be nice to them and things like that. But I'm sure it evolved, and that was a long time ago. I took that. Are you CTSB?
I'm getting my.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I'll take the class too with you.
Next month, 2 months.
Okay.
That's kind of thing I found with the track. Tree risk assessment qualification. I got it, and I thought, like, yeah, now I'll be able to identify that defect specifically, I'll be able to know if that's safe or not. And to me, ISA, I'm sorry if you're offended. No, I don't care, actually. I don't give a shit. Like, I'm trying to put pressure. Like, I'm not a trainer, okay? Instagram or whatever. I mean, I am a tree guy, and I'm going to share with you my experience with things. I'm not gonna fucking take the time to go learn how to become a trainer so I can talk to you in this, like, well, everybody, like in this Disney way. No offense to real trainers, people that have learned.
Now Jared's like, what?
People that have learned how
Jared
to
does have like a goofy voice.
Like educate.
Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to the Jared Show.
Let's get a hand for our sponsors here. And like, people that are good trainers have been educated. I mean, they already know the stuff, but they've been educated on the proper way to train. I am not going to do that. Mm-hmm. I'm a goddamn tree guy. I'm going to fucking tell you how I've done stuff, and it's not going to be me telling you, hey, I know everything, this is how you should do it. It's going to be me telling you, this is the shit I've run into, and this is how I've dealt with it. Mm-hmm. Take away from that what you will. Maybe it's helpful to you, maybe it's not. And I kind of get frustrated with some of our accreditation agencies. Basically, the official structure of our industry in America, just not that stuff about like safety and stuff like the track and stuff like the CTSP is just, it's almost like they're teaching you, I don't know, stuff that's more conceptual and philosophical rather than like, if you put a running bowline in nylon rope, it will decrease the strength by this percentage. Like, I want to see some facts. I want to see some data. I want to see some, like, if I ask Jared how much, if I take some Amsteel and I put a bowline in it, how much does that degrade the strength? You're like, I don't really know. Like, nobody really knows because we don't have data. I feel like product manufacturers should be giving us specific data. TCIA, ISA, they should have specific, like, studies should not be coming out from equipment manufacturers about certain things unless it's specific to their product. Sponsoring things that other people do, people have to write grants to bring us the information. It's like, to me, it's a little backwards.
So what do you see that they need to change?
I think they need to get in front of everything and take, basically, I see it as sort of like dodging liability a little bit.
Yeah, well, that was what I was about to bring up.
Yeah.
And that's not, it's almost, there is a gray area with this. And I believe this, that there's so many variables. And when we get into the physical aspects of this work, if we go and say, well, if you put a running bowline, it's going to decrease 50%. Well, how are you loading it? How much friction's in that system? How much, is it a negative rig? Is it a positive rig? Is there, it's just there's so much behind that to make that statement. There's a lot of gray area in between to the point of failure, I guess. So I could see it from both ways, but I agree, and that's where training and education comes in for people like you to be able to step in and say, I'm going to be that person. I'm going to come in and teach this stuff.
It's pushing the envelope. I mean, it's new companies. It's not just ISA and just TCIA, but new training companies like NATS, like Academy, like so-and-so. It's about us pushing that envelope and pushing them to do more for the industry for that, because there are gaps like that you have, you know?
I would like to get.
And you're going to have the opportunity on February 19th to be training about 250 individuals that are going to come listen to you. So you are going to be that trainer.
People?
I think so. I think we may have that many. I'm feeling it. I feel there's going to be a lot coming, my friend. And they're coming, and you're going to be the star of the show, man.
A lot of you are going to have to stand in the back. We're going to run out of chairs.
Oh, for sure.
We got a balcony up here for the VIP section we're going to have set up. But
hey, the first 30 people get a chair. The rest, y'all got to stand.
What I would love to do is have a bunch of dynamometers or whatever. There's different types out there, and be able to do my own experimenting. But then when I think about that, because I'm at the point where I would invest my own money just so I know for myself. But it's just like, why do I have to do that? Why aren't the people that I'm paying money to?
Have you asked them?
I should go and ask them.
We should. We should all ask them. I mean, why are they not? I mean, they might have an answer. You're going to go,
I think
that makes sense.
I look at this as opportunity.
Yeah.
I think this is a great thing. Without that, who are we? I mean, there's always opportunity with anything that these companies are lacking in doing. So, one, it's arising the conversation, getting people to think. But at the same time, it's like there is a lot of people working on this stuff, and it gives the people the chance to give back to the industry rather than being governed by something that's constantly ruling the entire industry. So now you have the opportunity to rule what you're talking about.
Yeah, you're right.
Instead of them ruling the industry, you get to
Exactly.
rule.
You get the choice.
And I don't want to sound like I'm popping off at the mouth. I have had almost a third of this beer. And I am popping off at the mouth a little bit. That'll happen when you get me talking.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
I'm a quiet guy, but once you get me talking, I start letting it rip. I understand that doing a lot, particularly around stuff that I don't know anything about, like the politics around how trees are, I guess, governed and planned, and the other stuff that's like much bigger than my world. So I'm sorry, ISA and TCIA. Cheers. To you guys. You do a lot for us. There's just some, I guess, smaller guy things. And yeah, Jared's totally right. Like they might not even know what we are wanting, because if we're not bringing it and asking it, and I suppose that's why I kind of pop off at the mouth a little bit, to get other people to be like, yeah, so like, well, then let's all kind of ask that. But like, hey, could you please put out some actual official studies regarding this? And we'd like to see some numbers around this. And I will say their publications are getting better and more comprehensive. And they are, I guess, doing more peer review within the industry with some of this stuff, instead of, I guess, having just a handful of people working on it.
And they encourage this. I mean, they really do. I mean, this is how they become a better company and provide a better service to us out there. So, it's not hating on anybody in any way. It's just pushing them to elevate their own standards of what was here, and we keep pushing on there. But, there's a difference between somebody that just talks shit about them and then never does anything, and someone that talks shit and acts and helps them in every way to make them be better.
Yeah.
I think you just started a committee, man. And I see some followers here. You have a resource here. I mean, we can design something to.
Yeah, you want to. What do you want to test out? What were you saying to test? You want to buy XYZ to test some things out?
Would like to see more data around. There is always that question. I know I have my own like guesstimations, but that big question, okay, how much strength reduction happens when you put this knot in this rope? And I know you can't just say that, because different rope fiber construction and different rope construction changes all of that stuff. And like Jared was saying, in what way are you loading it, and what operation are you
what degree is weather?
Is this something that
how old is that rope?
Is this something that the Academy could purchase, something to be able to test these things out, or how would we go about?
I don't think
to
it's
get that
even
information?
really purchasing stuff. I think we're just what would it would look like is kind of forming a committee to come together and do different testing in different scenarios, and kind of give we're never going to give 100% bulletproof data, but it's something rather than nothing. When you rig at 30 degrees off a redirect with x amount of diameter rope and this amount of this amount of weight, with 4 feet of fall. I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing something out there. Like, put some really hard scenarios in, and I do this a lot with my load cells with climbing. So what you're asking for, I do that on the climbing side. So I put my load cells out there, and I tell you what forces are at 30 degrees with a redirect, or 30 degree redirect. and then breaking that 30-degree off into a 15-degree redirect, into and then we can look at where these forces get dissipated throughout that double load off a basal anchor. So I know where you're going with this. It's just really hard. It's really time consuming, and there's a lot of factors when it comes down to it. And is it doable? Yeah, anything's doable. It's just getting the people that are committed, that want to make that change, that want to take their personal time to do it, and the rest is history. That's it. I mean,
is this something that we could come together and build a quick load
I think
kind
we
of committee
could.
with some individuals and people we know to, hey,
Yeah.
come out to the academy. Let's spend a weekend. We're going to test out a few things and collect some data to be able to give it out.
Yeah, we could do a very simple test run. It would be something like getting a handful of manufacturers together and be like, I need this product, this product, this product, put them through the test. And there's people out there doing this anyhow. Maybe we're just not getting the data. You know?
Yeah, I actually sat on a great talk at the last TCIA of this. God damn it, I don't want to butcher his name, so I'm not going to say it. I think it was like Matt Foley.
Foley. No.
I'm Matt Foley.
Are you making names up?
Yeah, but that's why it popped in your head.
I don't know.
It was him. He was there. French-Canadian gentleman who did an amazing study on negative rigging. I guess he actually applied for grant money that was available, and he, with that grant money, took it upon himself to really construct an amazing study. And the amount of technology he threw at it with just like, it wasn't just load cells. There were, what were they? I actually don't know. There was cameras, and there was highly sophisticated like laser pointing gear that would, pinpoints the laser on the actual object, and then it can measure and graph the movement
laser
on the lasers, like when the piece moved. And he had this ingenious construction for something to let the rope run instead of having a person, because there's, following scientific study, it has to be very recreatable and it has to be very consistent. So he basically, the amount of effort and actual like hard science he put into this was
it was like a friction
mind-blowing.
device that would release the load under X amount of pounds of pressure, right? So if you put 200 pounds of pressure on that rope to hold it until impact, and then it would give after say 200
It was
pounds.
like a sled up a slope that would slide, and it would release consistently, no matter what, and repeatedly. Anyway, so he did this amazing study, and I forget what we just said that led into me being like, oh yeah,
Matt Foley.
that's where I lost the
In
train.
the van down by the river.
That's where I lost the train. I was down in the van.
That's
by the
that's
river.
how most tree guys got started. I was living in a van down by the river. Someone said, "Will you climb this shit?"
I think I saw in the corner of my eye, I saw a comment or two about this being an unregulated trade, and it is. It's completely, in America, it's completely unregulated trade, and I kind of admire countries like the UK and Canada and Australia and New Zealand and some of the European countries that actually have a structure around it. Now,
Yeah.
I'm sure they would complain, and like you kind of hinted at it a little bit, like, but you don't want to be over-governed. You want freedom, but you want structure, but you don't want this tyrannical.
We're talking
like,
about America right there, right?
America, freedom.
You don't want this thing where like, oh, you have to climb every tree with 2 ropes all the time,
yeah.
even if it doesn't make sense, like the UK. And it's just like, well, we don't want that. That's a little overboard.
What do we want?
Well, where's the happy medium? And that's just like,
We
that's
want
the problem
standards.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, that's too much standards.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
we want just enough. Just enough.
Just the standards that I like.
Exactly.
Standards that I want.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
But no, some of these questions you had on like, I just see us of going, let's put our money where our mouth is. If the data's not there, why can't we gather it or at least create something out there by bringing a team together and testing these things out to give it out to the
This is
world?
where the LMS is coming in. Be able to take all of our knowledge across the world and having people have a place to be able to submit it. and have it live and have people be able to find it. I mean, that's
And this, what Jared's saying, our learning management system, the Academy is building a learning management system right now. It's been being built, it's been being designed, but and I'm going to say this on record. You, Lauren Schultz, because of your podcast on The Educated Climber that I listened to at 6:00 in the morning while working out, and it was a long one. You had a lot of great stories, and I listened to it for a couple days, actually. I finished it. Was the fact that you didn't know where does individuals put these education videos out, or how do they have this awesome idea and where do they put it? And a lot of people don't know. So the LMS we're working on to where individuals that are out there that have something cool or a tip, trick, right or wrong, they're going to have an outlet that they can put it online. And you inspired that, how do we gather all this information from around the world and be able to put it on one platform for individuals to learn from? Now, right or wrong, the world will say if it's right or if it's wrong in a lot of sense, because you're going to be star ratings, you're going to have comments, and holy shit. I mean, let me tell you.
It's going to turn into Yelp.
Oh my God. It's going to be a little bit of Yelp, from there. But when you're going to buy, you can sell it too, and you can get paid for this. So if you wanted to post all your stuff online and you wanted to charge $1.99 per episode, you get paid for it. And at the end of the month, the check comes to you for how many people signed up. So if you're only getting $1.99, it'll tell you how your show is. If you get a lot more than that, because it was good.
That's a great idea because, it's happening now, but people are just putting it out on other platforms, and it's just, there's so much now that it's kind of some of it's getting lost in the ether, and who you end up deciding to pay attention to is almost just this matter of chance. Like, I like this one guy and his content, it doesn't mean his content is more right than this guy and his content.
Yeah.
It's just kind of who you've found and who you've chosen to follow, because there's a million of them now.
And it's going to be categorized too. So if you want to SRT and you want to learn that, you're going to have 15 different individuals that are putting information on there that you can follow and stuff, and almost creating channels within with the program that you can follow these individuals, or groups with their trainings on there. That's the goal here.
I really like your idea. When we just started talking about just getting studies going, like, Academy can start actually doing these scientific studies. Kind of like how Davey and Bartlett, I guess, have been doing, for a long time.
Yeah.
Sometimes they share it with the rest of the world. Sometimes they keep it in-house, it seems.
Sons of
but
bitches.
like that. So you're saying it's such a good idea, you're going to come on board and do that for us?
Are you the first council member? Are you the first member of the board?
I would, you guys are right down the street. I could come and help out with some of that stuff.
Let's do it.
I would love to see it.
That testing gets put on me. And I'm like, I can't do this myself.
You're full-time to the Academy now. You got this. You got this. Who are some other individuals out there? We got Matt Meckley. He's ready to sign up right now. Who else? Who are some other individuals that would join?
I don't know anybody that would. I don't know. Yeah.
You put the call out. I think there's a lot of great, eager up and comers and climbers in the California area for sure, and probably all around. I'm sure a lot of the people watching or that will watch this are from different areas, and they'll gladly come on out.
I think the two people, in my time that I would call upon for something like this, for a consult, which would be probably conflict of interest, would be one, Taylor Hamill, guy's friggin' legit, and Joe Harris.
Joe Harris, yeah.
And like those two brains, get a good platform down and have them just dump some knowledge on us. And
what would be the first thing you'd want to test?
That's where I would probably bring him in and be like, where do we start?
Okay.
Tell me what to do, where to go. And
I
got my ideas. He's got his ideas.
I'm looking at another name. There's a guy out of he's in Austria now. He's a British fella, John Lloyd. He does stuff for DMM, and I don't know why this guy does. Well, I know he probably does tree work because he enjoys it, but he is a scientist. He is behind the Reeve systems, and he helps with the
I mean, I don't want to put you on blast, John, if you're out there.
He's like,
I don't want to, but with all due respect, but you know, but
with all due respect.
Another great guy. Yeah, there's a lot of.
Okay.
The thing is getting them together, getting them out here and getting the brains in the same room.
I mean, if you're okay with it, why not try it? Let's do it.
I mean, that's the big. I'm thinking all the shit we got to do.
There's a lot of stuff.
I mean, create another business for
Bob,
us.
can we create? I mean, we're just going to test out something. We're going to get together. We're going to.
This is much bigger than what we're talking about. This is going to be. Yeah, I mean, it could happen. It could happen in 2023.
Okay. 23.
I think a lot of prepping and doing it right, not just throwing a bunch of people together with a bunch of ideas. I mean, this has to be well thought, well executed. Need equipment. We need, it's going to take some time building out an area for this indoor outdoor. Is it doable? Absolutely.
So the 2023
having
facility?
the partners that we have in the academy and be able to work with this industry, it'd be a perfect idea.
Yeah,
we can do it, but it's gonna take some legwork, that's for sure.
Well, what doesn't?
Yeah. No, that's the fun part, and we got Lawrence here to do all of it.
Oh man, I'm excited. I mean, he sparked it all. I mean, shit.
I think this is a good time for me to disappear for a second.
Okay, go to the bathroom. So, no, it did. It inspired me because I'm like, you have a big outreach to the world on your education, your teaching, your YouTube,
Apparently
your social
more
media.
than I realized.
More than you realize. You really do.
When I look at I don't know that number of followers is like that
No,
great of a barometer, but it's like I don't really have that big of a following
When
compared
I
to
have-
a lot of people.
when I have individuals walk up to me and go, dude, he is my mentor. He is my idol. This guy I've learned everything from. You don't even know these individuals. That's when you know you're affecting the world of what you're doing every day and what you're putting out there to them, because they're signing up left and right, and that's awesome to see. And I'm excited to be a part of that masterclass on February 19th. People, sign up if you haven't signed up. I'm sure we got 20 people that signed up tonight, but no, this is interesting on the educational part and everything. And I see Jared over here. He left, and I'll talk about him, but he's like, "Oh my gosh, don't put any more on my plate right here." But I think it's a great idea. I think it's, if TCI can do these things and ISA and these, why can't we test this? Why can't we bring a group of professionals in to test out a few of these things? So they don't have to guess and trial and error out there in the field, but we can give them real data of how to utilize these pieces of equipment on a daily basis when they're climbing, and they don't have to guess like you did.
Yeah, and that's the goal, really. If the goal is, because there's a lot of preaching about safety, and if you want people to be safer, arm them with knowledge.
Yep,
knowledge
exactly.
is power, and really is really impressive. The British, their documentation and their sort of training material around arboriculture. I think it's called the RR 685 or something like that. It has a very dry name, but it is hundreds of pages long, and each thing, particularly around rigging, is a full-blown scientific study with load cells and motion cameras and all this stuff. I'm like, wow, they really vetted it out.
Are we utilizing their stuff?
I am.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So how can somebody get a hold of that?
It's free. It's available for download. I will figure it out later, and I'll put the name, the link for it.
Okay.
But it does take that kind of, because they put it out there. You can download it for free, and it does take the individual wanting to learn more to find it.
Let me put that down. I'll see if we can put it on our page, our Two True Guys page, or the Academy page.
Yeah, and so I guess going back to, because you're telling me these people are influenced by me, and it's like, well, I just started making the videos for entertainment purposes, but the Schultz Effect thing was because I got to a point where it was like, nobody else is making a way to learn SRT very effectively, at least at that junction. and or if they are, it's like you've got to pay a fair amount of money to go to a class.
Yep.
The class is usually not hands-on. It's like, look at this, and it's maybe a day. Usually it's shorter. And it's just like, well, how are you going to remember all that? You can remember some of it. Maybe you can take a picture of something if you can get close enough to take a picture of. So it's like, I don't know. I just see this way of spreading, not necessarily knowledge, because I didn't consider myself like this guru, but it was just like, hey, look, here's all this stuff that I've been sifting through and sorting out and vetting kind of and using in trial and error. Here's my experience with it. So take it, with a grain of salt, but you can stream it, you can download it, you can learn it on your own time in the comfort of your own home. You don't have to take a day off of work. You don't have to pay $300 to go somewhere. And you have it with you and you can reference it.
That's what you put on YouTube.
That's on its own little thing. Yeah, it's at the SchultzEffect.com, and they can more or less. Now
if they don't pay for it, it's free.
No, it's cost some money because it took me.
It's just not $300.
No, it's $39.95 or something like that.
Oh.
It took me. I thought about it for like a year or two, and then it took me a full year to actually make it with the filming and the editing, because it's a lot of work. It really is a lot of work, and I've been working on. I got so much stuff mapped out in my head. I have the next chapters. I have a rigging one mapped out. I have the Schultz Effect 2.0 SRT one mapped out.
Awesome.
It's just having the time to do it, and the energy to do it. Because I do contract client full time, so sometimes I just want to
Sometimes I want to sleep.
Sometimes not.
I'm so tired.
Oh man. And so you're gonna have, and that's gonna be online at the SchultzEffects.com.
Yeah, I have been working on the rigging one. People have been asking me about the rigging one for years. I took a break, and then I've been procrastinating, and then working on it, and then it's like, wow, this is a lot of work. I have almost all the footage already filmed. It's just editing and finding the time to do the editing.
Gotcha.
So it's coming soonish. Ish.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
That's awesome. So how can the Academy help?
Maybe that's what I need to get some help. It's hard to.
You actually took the words right out of my mouth. I was like, I'm not going to say that, because then Jared's going to be like, we already got to do all this scientific studies on ropes, and now you're signing us to be a film crew?
I have thought of
this
getting
is your boat. So I'm like,
I
how
know.
can Phil help?
I'm like, how can we help?
Phil, how are you at editing?
How
Phil?
can we help you to be able to do this?
Well, we have a staff, so we got some help.
That's
we got
true.
help.
The trickiest part because I thought about getting help with the editing, because most of the filming's done, is getting, I guess, somebody to edit it in line with your vision. I guess because
how many videos are there that we'd have to edit?
He's like
terabytes of video.
Terabytes.
Maybe not terabytes.
So if somebody was dedicated
terabyte.
full time at editing and building this out, and you have it kind of scripted of exactly film one,
that's the problem.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
I have written it down in notes a little bit, but there are notes that make sense to me. So it's like scribble. Oh, a triangle, and then there's a triangle over here. Make sure to blah 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 blah, and I have my own little. And it's like, well, that doesn't make sense to normal humans. So maybe.
Now let me ask you: Could from some of scholarship fund or any other kind of funds, could this go into something like that?
This is training and education,
to be able to put it out to the world, that for the first, because of the Academy, because of companies that have donated to our scholarship fund, of the Elevated Scholarship Fund.
Which I don't know, we didn't even tell them about that yet.
Did I tell him? No, I think I told him a little bit. I told him a little bit about the scholarship fund,
Okay.
but I didn't go into it.
Okay.
Do you want to tell about it?
Yeah, so, did he tell you or not?
A little bit, because I called him up and was like, hey, Brett Hewitt actually reached out to me. So I put out something on a story a while ago, and I had an idea, and maybe you guys would love this idea. And I forget what started it. But I was thinking, wouldn't it be cool if there was a grant of some kind where you apply for the grant, young person, if you want to learn, and we're going to send you to go, I guess, shadow a vetted, experienced climber.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have you on Senna. You're going to be out of the action, so, for liability purposes, you're not involved in the danger. But you can watch an actual professional who's got, 10 years experience or more dissect a problem in the field, whether it be, I don't know, a gigantic tree that needs to be pruned or target pruned, or storm damage, or something needs to be removed or whatever. I'm like, sure, here's all the stuff you can read in the book, and here's the rights and the wrongs and the safeties and the shalls and shall nots and do's and don'ts. But seeing somebody actually apply it and not just in a classroom setting is kind of a vacuum too. Or me just talking about stuff I already did, or somebody talking about something they already did, is very different than watch him do it right now as he's experiencing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought that would be a cool grant. We'll pay this person's, travel, and they'll go shadow a professional for.
And why not just one person? Why cannot a group of people go do that?
Yeah.
To where you hook that up, Bluetooth speaker down there, live cam, and they're talking through every single cut and every single thing they're doing, but there's 20 people watching.
Wow, you are boosting it. Yeah.
Boost.
You got the larger vision.
Yeah, I think that'd be an awesome class of, we're going to, you have crane classes, right?
Yeah.
That you're up there and you're doing
we
that
do the
too.
Same, basically the same thing, yeah.
Yeah.
We're doing removal with,
But it's cool if there
people
was a
standing there.
live cam that you can actually see, and that's a scholarship for. We want to be able to raise money on products we sell, on people donating, to be able to give back to the industry for ideas like this and say, yeah, let's do it. Let's see if it catches on. Let's see if it's awesome. If it's not, we'll say it sucked and we won't do it again. But if it was cool and people got a lot out of it, we'll do it.
So to clarify for everybody watching, if you guys didn't hear previous episodes or episodes that, previous episodes, basically what we've done is we're starting a nonprofit, right? This nonprofit is basically going to provide scholarships for individuals. It's going to be random draws. But what we're doing is we started a series of products called the Elevated Series. So what this series is, we're not making our own products. We're using other products in this industry. As an example, we have one we've formed an alliance with, which is Clogger Pants. They're going to come out 2022 this year with the Elevated Series Clogger Zeros. All right, they're going to be in red and black. They're going to have a killer new Elevated logo on it. And
look at all the hearts.
Yeah, they're going to be super bitchin'. And a portion of those proceeds are going to go back into the funds are going to go into this nonprofit organization that gives scholarships for individuals. So however these people use that money, it's just for training. So whether they want to use it at TCIA or ISA or online courses, or maybe it's an apprenticeship program at a college, or maybe they use it at a different, other training companies. It doesn't have to be through Academy Train. We just want to get people trained up. And if there's ways that we can do that by using these companies in the industry, why wouldn't we do that? Right? So
yeah, that's great.
I think it's really neat, and we're able to modify this as we go. The best part about it is we're using a lot of different companies. So maybe a carabiner, maybe a harness, and maybe a chipper, maybe whatever, right? So this is how we're going to gain our funds, hopefully, for this nonprofit and be able to give back. So maybe, this is a portion of the funds is building it, training and education, like you said, for testing different products and,
Or helping you create the videos that go out, and if everybody puts this little number in or this coupon code, they get $15 off, and you give them a discount for getting online and seeing a video that the Academy helped you produce or make.
Sounds like we got a multiple pronged attack here.
I like it. I like it. The key is to get this out there. It's not if it's something that we can help by, a little bit of money or a little bit of resource, and all of a sudden, instead of a year from now, everybody getting it, they get it in 6 months, that's perfect.
Yeah, true that.
We'll let the crowds vote.
Yeah. You got
Where's what do
You
people
guys-
want?
like it, put a little heart if you guys feel like we need to get what's it called? The Schultz Effect 2.0.
Oh yeah.
What's the name? What's
That
the
was going to be for the SRS.
The
and
SRS?
and then the rigging one.
rigging?
And then and now we're talking about doing academy studies.
Yeah.
That's another
Okay.
thing. And now we're talking about grants and scholarships for people to go learn.
I love it.
Oh, so the thing
there
that I
they
was talking
come.
about.
There they come. Look at them. Keep it coming.
So Brett had seen me throw that idea out on a story because I put that out there, sort of like pressuring, like, hey, all you companies that sell PPE and make a lot of money on us that way, how about you guys create this grant that would send, I guess, what are they called? Apprentices to go shadow journeymen so they can see firsthand somebody pick apart a puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you guys fund that? Because that'd be a way of giving back. That'd be pretty cool. And, like, I don't have a big following enough that like a big company would see that and think, yeah, we should do that. But then he reminded me as this class was coming up, well, like, hey, you're about to give a class and you have some stuff to share. We should, between me and him and maybe some other people, buy a couple seats and then just give those away in like a scholarship style thing.
So we have a little less than a month to be able to do this. How are we going to get the word out there to all these individuals?
I guess my
And what do they do to be able to win that?
My thought was I would maybe put something out on social media, be like, hey, teaching a class February 19th, nominate your friend. Do a little video. Tell us why your friend absolutely needs to come to this class and tag your video with this tag so we all have them organized.
Okay.
And then we'll pick one. We'll pick two of them or something like that. Like 2 weeks before or something like that. Well, yeah, we only got a month.
We only have
It's go time.
Let's
We pick them right now. Hey, everybody.
Let's do this tonight. When we get done, we'll make the video. Think of the hashtag they need to do, or tagging the academy, tagging you in it. Make a video nominating their friend. Hashtag, elevated scholarship. We'll put on there, and we'll make a video tonight and put it out there, and then we'll share it to everybody. And then let's see what comes in the next week or so, and then we'll pick one or two individuals to be able to come to the show. How's that sound?
Cool. Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure. Cool. We're gonna make somebody's day.
Yeah, hopefully we don't have too many beers. We're like,
Everybody's free.
Free,
Whoa,
everybody.
just rock it.
Training on me.
Just feed me beer. I'll tell you whatever you want to know.
Oh, man. I can see that happen.
Training on me.
Ah,
It's
you
free.
know what?
250
Lawrence Schultz, free.
free. Everybody. There'll be 10,000 people here. Every Instagram follower of yours will
That
be
wouldn't
here.
be a bad play.
Just give it for free.
It wouldn't be a bad play.
Oh man. Just all
Here's
the
the secret to
a
one
free
hand in
training.
here.
Oh,
Hey,
it would be
hey.
such a flood.
Let's
of
do
coming in.
this. Maybe the next one I'll do it for free. And then
Ooh.
nobody will show up, man. What are you kidding? Who are you kidding?
I'll be there.
Free training. They're like,
Free?
Jared? Nah. we'll
They're
go.
like, you here for Jared? Oh no, I heard George is really good barbecuer. I'm here for them and live music, the Kingsboroughs.
Oh man.
No, man, these are the things we need more of. What we're talking. I mean, we're creating things right now. I mean, data testing, all new products that are coming in, being able to help you be able to get your film and editing to get out to the universe, and then also giving scholarships away in class. I mean, 3 different things we have to do now, and our plate's full by this conversation and drinking beers and talking to Instagram and our friends and people out there. So
this is a think tank.
I love it. I love it. I'm like,
Yeah,
what else we got?
Whiteboards over here. We got a
Yeah.
content. We got hooks hanging all over the place. You could tie in anywhere in this room. You guys can't see it, but we got tie-in points all over this room that we can hang from harnesses. And
Shit.
yeah, it's
We haven't even used those yet, man.
yeah. I have.
Gotta make sure they work.
Oh man.
But Yeah, so many things we could think of. I mean, we kind of got down the beaten path of, your story, but I think it all kind of comes back down to the same direction and the same goals, right? We gotta,
and if you guys want to hear Lawrence's story, it's on Educated Climber. That you can listen to it, but I was hoping we'd go down a different path tonight, and not just hear your story, but talk about the industry and talk about what they're doing right or doing wrong on the education side, and kind of just shoot the shit about this stuff. I like that. There's a lot of things we can do by us coming together, and the ideas you have. Where do you talk about them? Where can you bounce them off other individuals and create some action steps? And we're going to create them tonight. I'm excited to see the videos that are going to come over when we post this from individuals of who they're going to nominate and what do they need to say on the show when they make a video, when they're nominating their friend. They're going to say why they need to come to this training.
Yeah.
What else?
Tell us about your friend. Tell us how it's going to benefit your friend.
Okay.
As I spitball, make it up right now.
No, I like it. Tell us about your friend. Tell us why they need the education. You're going to put it on Instagram. You're going to put it on Facebook, and you're going to tag us in it that we have to be able to see it. We'll collect them, and you have to put hashtag elevated scholarship.
Oh, there you go. Hashtag
Boom.
elevated scholarship. Boom. We got the tag.
So
I like it.
I got one big question. And I got to listen for like maybe a few seconds of you walking around today, getting your ideas in your head. You didn't even really say anything. Just kind of, I could see you mapping things out. But what do you think makes you different as an educator than other trainers / educators?
Well, I'd have to, I guess, see who you're comparing me to.
Nope,
but
not compared to anybody. I'm comparing me to the world.
What would make me different? I suppose the type of field experience I've had when it comes to rigging, because I spent 10 solid years rigging in tight quarters, New York City. Like, not upstate New York, not Long Island, New York motherfucking City.
New York City.
New York City. My primary job for 8 years was working for the Brooklyn Forestry Department, and my main task usually was dead, dying, disease tree removal. At the same time, I also, for probably about 2 years into that career, I started doing side work. So that ballooned up into my own little side business. So I was doing those. So I'm out on the front yard taking care of the trees, like on the street in the parks, and then I'm in the backyard. So they're both just very tight quarter situations where it's not just hard targets and soft targets. It's also traffic. It's people. It's every other kind of wild thing that could happen, and just managing all those factors every day, all the time. And I really overworked. I would work like 60 to 80 hour weeks a lot for years, for like 8 to 10 years, really.
Yeah. Think about a high stress environment.
So that would probably make me
City.
different when it comes to talking about rigging. And then when it comes to climbing, nothing particularly special other than maybe just a very analytical and strategic approach to climbing. That doesn't, like, I often will dissect the climb after I've done it, just to ask myself, was that the most efficient way to do that? How could I have done that better? How could I have done that more, I don't know, safer, quicker, something, I guess I'm critical in that
Your own
way.
worst critic, right? So
Yeah, and I guess in some ways, give a lazy man a job to do, and he'll find an easy way to do it.
Exactly.
It's like, there's this part of me is like a lazy man. How can I do this the easiest way possible? AKA the most efficient way, the quickest way.
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah, if there's other people like that, then great. They should be spreading their findings. I would say I'm particularly good at public speaking, but I think that ends up becoming a big sort of
divider as well. It's like I'm sure there's people out there that are have everything that I just listed, the credentials, the experience, but are you willing to then get up and talk about it? Are you then willing? Can you translate your instructions to yourself? Can you turn them into words that other people are going to understand?
Yeah.
And that's hard. It is hard. I find it hard, and that's what I'm
It's harder
trying to
than the
do
actual
now.
work.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
It's draining. Like talking
I've never been a good
public speaker.
public speaker, or I'm still not a good. I mean, listen to me. I'm a I'm absolutely terrible at this.
That's all, folks.
But
And he's just being humble because I've seen Jared speak, and it's great. Like I learned so much because Jared has a very, very like kind of it's pretty analytical.
People say I dumb it down, but it's just because I'm dumb.
Explains it in a way
Oh
that
my
explains a
gosh.
complicated thing in a way that somebody can understand it.
Because that's how I understand it.
Yeah.
And it
But
works.
It works.
It works. It's effective.
I mean, I hear it every day when you're with these individuals, and it's great because at the end of the class, he always does a wrap up. Like, what's one of your takeaways? And they all have an aha moment, and that's what you're looking for as a trainer.
I got that
With
from
that
Chris
student.
Brenner.
Aha.
I got that from Chris Brenner. I
Yeah.
stole that from him. It was one of the best things
Yeah.
that man ever gave me was, the takeaway. It's really good.
It
It's
is.
really good. But yeah, no, I brought that up because I heard your brain thinking. You're like, I'd like to kind of get in here and do some talking first and get them to understand this. And I'd like to take them out there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I teach the same exact way. Like that's how my brain works. And I mean that's how a lot of these individuals think too. That I'm teaching and training statistically for myself. So as soon as you said that, I'm like, wow, you got a very similar approach to training that I do. Not saying that's right or wrong or the best way or whatever, but it was similar. So I'm like, oh, well, what's the reason for that? Why does that work for you? Do you do that all the time, or is that just something that kind of?
I feel like it's probably because that's how I learn. I would imagine. Yeah, that's probably why I gravitate because it makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, lay out what the outline of what it is I'm trying to teach. So let's make sure that you kind of are starting to get exposed to the core concepts, and then we'll show them. So then you can put that sort of lecture with an actual action, and you can see it.
Yeah.
And then it kind of clicks. Like, ideally, the next step would be like, okay, now you're gonna try it, But that's it's hard. We don't have enough time and resources.
I can sum this up because I know Bob's dying over there because he wants to say something. What is this called, Bob? Is it seven ways to the Gangnam whatever cafe?
Style.
Well, yeah, you lost me, Jared.
He lost me
Bob,
too.
you sleeping?
He lost me too.
This is
Gangnam
our back room, Bob. Bob's hiding back over there. No, the ways of learning here.
Oh yeah, Gagne's 9 events.
Gagne's 9 events.
Yeah.
Now what are they again?
Oh, you're gonna put me on the spot.
Yeah.
So you recall prior learning. You state the objective in the agenda. Gosh, I can't remember them all.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bob.
That's all right.
Okay, we'll catch up on that one later. But
Well, the rest is for everybody to Google online and
Gagne.
learn themselves.
Gagne's
Yeah,
9.
Gagne's 9 instructional events.
Not Gangnam. It's Gagne.
Gagne. Yeah.
He said Gangnam. You're like, Gangnam style. He wrote that really good song. He also teaches.
I mean, that's how people learn.
Gangnam style.
Everyone knows it.
Oh man. So
Anyways, that's a natural gift that you have to be able to teach in that sense because it makes sense.
now, what are you going to be teaching during this class?
Well,
What's
we're
the
going to talk about rigging. Probably. We'll start with basic stuff, and then we'll start. It's going to be tight quarters rigging because to me that's the most sort of intense rigging. We're going to go over the basics, but basically everything that you learn in basics, you're going to have to apply creatively to get you out of these tight quarter situations. That was my life for a long time, and it still kind of is. It's just a little bit of a different challenge out here. So we'll start with the rigging, basic to advanced tight quarters rigging, and then we'll spend some time very specifically around spar positioning and rigging,
Okay.
negative rigging, when you can't negative rig, what are the alternatives? Slabbing, quartering, salami cuts, building,
Gotcha.
building crash pads, and
Cool.
yeah, that's pretty much that laundry list. Then that'll get us to lunch.
Oh shit.
Then we'll probably go back inside for a little bit and start talking about different climbing systems, MRS, SRS. Start trying to highlight the pros and cons of each one, where each one shines, what its pros and cons basically. Then hopefully take it out to the back 40 and apply it, because now we've identified the arrows that we have in our quiver.
Mm-hmm.
Which one is going to be most appropriate to shoot this particular target, and that'll kind of lead into a talk about efficiency and strategy.
Okay.
And just how I kind of look at a tree. First, there's tree inspection first and foremost. Then we're going to look at, okay, where in this tree is the work? Okay, once we find the work, all right, now the attributes of the actual tree. Is it a tall tree? Is it a short tree? Is it wide? Is it thick? Is there a lot of dead space? And from that, I can't tell a person what to do or how to do the climb, but I can hopefully lead you to this mental flow chart of something that you can apply in your head to get to this answer. I'm like, okay, yeah, what is going to be the best arrow? What is going to be the best thing that I have at my disposal here to get this job done efficiently, and or blend of.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's a blend. So don't discount one thing because of the benefits of this other thing just for this part of the climb, when it's like, oh, I can also use this for the other part of the climb. If I combine these two things, we're going to have a good day.
Mm-hmm.
So try to get people into, not just being one track,
Gotcha.
like a one trick pony, or just like going only only SRT. Well, that's not always the best. Or only MRS. Well, a lot of times it's a blend. How you going to blend it, and then not just tools, also techniques, and just breaking down the tree, route planning, kind of throwing that all together, and that should get us through the day, I think.
Wow. It sounds like a 3-day class we need to have.
Well, it definitely could into it. It's better to have more than not enough. So
Yeah.
Every time I listen to people talk about their days speaking, I'm like, well, I sure hope there's enough, because what happens when you run out? Because then you get that awkward, like, it's 2:30. Let's take a break. Let me figure out what I'm going to talk about after this.
You're going to be great on this. I'm excited. This is going to be a good show. Really good show.
I agree.
Having you.
I agree.
Well, it means I have to rise to the occasion. Again, I'm a tree guy, not a trainer, so if I have to stop and refer to my notes, bear with me. If I do not...
And what makes someone a trainer? I mean, when do you say, I'm officially a trainer? When they teach their first class?
No, I think I have that distinction in my head from individuals that have actually taken the time to, I guess, be trained in training and trained in public speaking and trained in a way that they...
But that's what one of your strong points is, public speaking. Right?
So this is a fine line. So
that's what you said. You said, I'm good at public speaking.
So do you consider me a trainer?
At this point, yeah, dude. You're second, third generation tree guy.
Okay, so I'm everything that you said that is not. I've never been professionally trained to the point where nobody taught me to be a trainer. I've never had professional speaking. I didn't even graduate high school on time. Let alone, I've never gone to college. I never had any.
Yeah, you did that one day.
I had one day.
That was going to college.
3 minutes of.
You drove in, you turned around, and
trees.
you left. It said, Dad.
So, I think you could definitely be a trainer and not have to be properly trained. If you're influencing an industry in the right way, and you're training people the proper way, you're a trainer.
Yep.
Yeah,
I agree.
So,
and you'll officially, if you don't think you are, you'll officially have that title on February 19th as a trainer of a master class.
Hat I reluctantly wear.
Oh man.
And and maybe just being a trainer has just been kind of like whitewashed down to the point where it has a bad name. I don't know. Do you think that could be an issue why this trainer title has been compromised, or you think it's just
well, maybe sometimes. Well, we'd have to see what people think, but I think maybe sometimes in my head, some trainers, to me, not to like say anything bad about trainers, they're no longer doing production tree work. Like they've kind of gotten they're past that phase, and now they train. And I'm not ready to give up production climbing yet. I do enjoy it, for as frustrating and as dangerous and backbreaking as it is. I'm still I guess I'm still hooked. I still have a penchant for those exciting situations.
It's because you're still learning.
Yeah. Like I just got back from a week of a contract doing some stuff on a scale that was top 3, like kind of largest scale stuff that I had. Individual trees, like largest scale. Like these trees were about 150 to 200 feet tall, just as wide. Invasive species, very, very weird wood properties, the super brush heavy, very aggressive reaction to the cuts. Kind of similar to some other stuff, but kind of unlike other stuff I'd worked with before. So yeah, in a way I was like, I'm having to I got little bits of experience that kind of cover some of this, but I'm kind of totally relearning how to work with this particular tree in this way, and this is our objective, and this is what we have to do. And a lot of times too, the added factor is like, and this is the equipment and team I have to do it with. Holy shit.
Was it successful?
I'm still here. Yeah.
Well, congrats.
Got a good amount done, and I mean it's a big project. It's still going on, but
Are you going to go back?
I'd like to, but I have to attend to my
Gotcha.
attend to my work up here.
Gotcha.
But they're in a good position to pretty much knock the rest out. The guy who brought me out there is a killer climber too. And
Yeah.
he's got it on lock now.
Now let me ask you, what, we're going to be kind of wrapping this up, but I want to know what's one piece of advice, wisdom that you want to share with all the viewers. And I always tell everybody, this live video, there's someone like myself that listen to podcasts years after you give it. So the wisdom and everything you're going to give these individuals, it goes to the universe, and somebody can change their life or anything. But what's the one thing you want to share with everybody?
Oh man, this was one of those questions, that survey you guys sent me, and I was just like, I don't know. I was just answering. I see like some of it's printed out. You can probably even see my answer on here.
Yeah, we do. But I mean, just from your heart, what's something you want to share with everybody in this industry of, you spent the last 18 years of your life devoted to, it's your passion, it's your life, it's your livelihood. What kind of wisdom you want to give everybody?
I mean, it's my passion, but I know it's not a lot of people's passion. A lot of people, it's just a job. So I think anything that I would just say, it's more of a broader scale. Just live your life like you might not be alive tomorrow, because you never know when you might not be.
That's
If this isn't your passion, it doesn't have to be. Maybe it's just your vocation right now. Figure out what your passion is. If you get there, you get there. If you don't, you don't. Just try to freaking enjoy your life in between,
Mm-hmm.
And I've always, beyond tree work, I've always kind of tried to do that. And, I can honestly say I've had a lot of experiences and not that many regrets. I do have regrets, but
Yeah.
more experiences. Like I never wanted to live, and I still don't ever want to get to that point in life. And I know it's an eventuality where you're just like, I used to. I don't want to be I used to. And I'm trying to die as young as possible, as late as possible. So I used to,
I'm not ready to say I used to
I
yet.
said that like 5 times to you within the last couple hours you've been
He
here.
did. I used to.
So I only got a couple
That's
I
good,
used to,
man.
Yeah.
but I'm holding on, and maybe I'm just
Good.
like being I don't know.
That's good, man.
I don't know what they call that, being a Peter Pan or some bullshit like that. But I don't know. I'm
You
trying
know-
to live the hell out of it.
Yeah, and
I'm evolving, but at the same time, I'm still.
you nailed it. You know, this is a perfect example of one of my Ayustas. Was just this last weekend. I'm riding around with, you know, a bunch of friends that are 10 plus years younger than me, and we're out snowboarding. And I'm like, yeah, I used to hit these things like crazy, man. I used to hit those rails, hit those boxes,
Now,
like.
now the rails hit you.
Yeah, and so I'm doing them, but I'm not doing them like I used to by any means. And towards the mid-late portion of the day, I hit a box and I went down, busted a hole in my shin, and and
busted a
that's
hole.
kind of like
As
everybody's
a
like,
hole.
"Oh man, you need to stop doing that. You're not as young as you think you can do all these things that you used to do." And I'm like, bitch, I can. I just did it.
I just did it.
Yeah,
I may
just
be
did it.
bleeding,
Yeah, I'm bleeding, but I
and
did
I'm
it.
limping, but I did it.
You know, so like I don't think we're gonna us three guys, man. We just keep living, keep going, tougher, stronger.
And take care of yourself too. Yeah. Oh, that's a big one. And that's a whole other conversation actually that I have. Yeah, maybe that is a long conversation.
You mean no Red Bulls and cigarettes before you start work in the morning?
Yeah. I probably a lot of people don't know this about me, but I'm a vegetarian. I don't drink alcohol during the week except when I'm on a podcast. I've toned it down big time when it comes to nightlife and everything associated with that. I'm into like stretching and eating healthy and start listening to your body, listening to just maintaining correct postures and just keeping yourself in alignment and just like learn about your body, which is such a weird thing to get to adulthood and get through school and everything and just realize like I don't really know that much. And then I go to a doctor about like my shoulder hurts and they don't really tell me much. And it's just
You're like,
like,
here, take this whole
don't.
bottle of
What the
pills
hell?
and then
Like-
come back. I'm like, hard
Yeah.
no.
So actually, I would love to talk about. That's a whole separate journey that I would like to talk about because I've had a couple musculoskeletal injuries, and Western medicine wasn't really the most helpful. And I've kind of over time developed my own sort of, and it's going to be different for everybody, their own what's going to work for them. But develop my own sort of programs and routines to get them like the routine maintenance, and get this machine and still to chug along and get through these like long hard days and these the abuse I'm going to throw at it. You got to maintain the machine. It's like the same with a saw. If you pull out the same saw and you never sharpen it and you never take the burrs off the bar and you're always jamming it into the wood and you're beating the hell out of it every day.
Never clean the filter.
Yeah, eventually it's not going to run very well.
It's Warren Buffett said this, and we can put it to the tree care world, but he said if you had one car, you can pick any car that you want, any car in the world. You get to pick one, but you have to have it for the rest of your life. What car would you pick, and how would you treat that car? And, essentially that's your body. That's what you get. That's, so if you pick one chainsaw for the rest of your life to do work, and you never get another chainsaw, how would you treat that saw every single freaking day?
Be polishing that thing.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing with your body. I mean, you don't get another one, people. That's it. You got it. There it is. If you want to put a hole in your shin and have blood squirt out because you thought you could do a half pipe on your snowboard because you're, 43 years old, then do it. But if you want to take care of your body, don't do things like that. It's irresponsible.
He's over there like, whoa, bro, 43.
Yeah,
Come on, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Oh,
you really
no,
jumped.
42.
I'm 40, man.
40. Shit. Okay. I'm just kidding. Well, dude, Lawrence, I'm glad you're here today, man.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I
Pleasure.
am. You're more of an inspiration than I thought. I knew you were very well known in the industry. Going to TCIA and seeing you, everybody's coming up. Hey, what's up? And I never really knew you too much. But getting the master class, and honored to have you, accept to come to the second master class and watch the names coming in left and right for you is pretty cool and pretty exciting, especially having people I know that said, can I go to that? I need to go to that. That's my inspiration. That's my mentor. I want to go. I've learned so much from him. And those are only people that are coming my way. And I'm sure there's, tens of thousands of people out there in the industry that's watched your videos on YouTube or has gone to your website and learn from the Schultz Effect, some awesome things. But keep giving back, keep pushing the envelope, keep raising that bar, man. If TCI doesn't like it and ISA doesn't like it and other people, that's good. That's good because you're pushing the envelope, and we need to do that amongst each other and hold each other accountable. Myself included and the academy included. I hope people online and everything keep pushing us to be better and better and better, to keep giving back to the industry, because like you said at the end with the wisdom, we're going all in. All chips are in. This is it. This is all we got. We're living like we don't get tomorrow. So we're giving back to the industry as much as we can to try to inspire and motivate other individuals to take that torch to the next generations from that. But I appreciate you being here, man.
Thanks.
I do. Thank you so
for
much.
Providing the platform.
Yeah, and of course we're going to have many more. Are you going to the TCIA Winter Management?
I'm not gonna make it to that. I gotta actually give a talk out in New York, actually.
All right. Well, we're going to have our podcast show out there. We're going to bring out on the beach of TCI Winter Management and do that. But guys, if you haven't signed up yet, sign up tonight. February 19th here in Santa Rosa, California. We're going to be having Lawrence Schultz Masterclass. It's going to be awesome. Music, food, barbecue, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We're going to have a bunch of vendors. Hopefully that'll be out here selling supplies and giving things away and all sorts of fun stuff to kind of bring together as a community to listen from this professional Mr. Schultz. So appreciate you, man. Appreciate Jared, too.
Yep.
Thank you.
Peace.
Jared,
And hey.
Jared's a little mentor of mine. I would say. From afar, I was.
Well, he's going to give
Sensei.
he's going to give a free class to everybody for that in the master. He said number 3. But guys, if you liked the show, you loved it, share it. We don't ask for money, but if you do want to send money, we will take it. We appreciate it because it's going to buy our
Exactly.
it's going to buy the beer for our beer sponsor. Thank you, Barrel Brothers, for allowing us to purchase this beer at not a discounted rate. We appreciate it. Thank you. Hopefully you share us on your page. No, but if you guys like the show and you got something out of it and you learned something, share it today. Spread the word out there. Copy, paste, send, tag a friend to this. But that's it. That's the end of our show. We appreciate it. Thank you.